I have this card for you. It is a pop-up card, and it's called the Pop-Up Triple Cube card. It also is pretty much a learn-as-you-go kind of card, because this is the first time I've attempted this. I found this tutorial on a YouTube channel, and it was actually in German, so I had to do a bit of translating and also converting from centimeters over into inches. And it's a semi-success, I think, and I'll show you what it looks like inside. It actually pops up into this cube, and I had to push it back a little bit because I think I did not make the angle sharp enough, so it's not really getting the effect that it should, but it's not too bad, I don't think. So if you'd like this sort of surprise inside card, please stick with me and I'll show you how. American Craft cardstock for this, and the first piece I have here is the base, or the insert in this case, and this is where the pop-up is going to go in. And this measures 11.5 by 5 3/4. And then we have our pop-up cubes, and the largest of these is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2. The next size is 6 1/2 by 4 3/4. And the last one, the smallest, is 5 3/4 by 4 inches. So the first thing is just to mark this at the center, which is 5 3/4. So we have our insert, and it's just simply fold it in half. For the cube, starting with the largest, which is 7 1/4, we just score it at 1/2 inch, and then just turn it and score it again at 1/2 inch. Then just leave it in the scoreboard and score it at 3 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. And then turn it around again and score it at 3 3/8. And that will leave you a spine here of 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch tabs. So we're going to do for the next piece, which is the 6 1/2. I'm going to score it again at 1/2 inch, turn it, score it at 1/2 inch, then come in and score it at 3 inches, turn it and score again at 3. And the final piece, which is the 5 3/4, score it at 1/2 inch, turn, score at 1/2 inch, and then score it at 2 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it and score it again at 5/8. And that is going to give you again that 1/2 inch spine. Take your pieces for your pop-up, put them back into the scoreboard, and the largest one, turn it to the short side, which is 5 1/2 inches, and then simply use your pencil to mark through the groove, or you could, if you wanted to, just use your ruler if you didn't want to use the scoreboard. But I'm just going to put it in here, and at 2 3/4, I'm going to make a mark right down the center there. The same on the 4 3/4, so that will be 2 3/8. again, go right down the middle. And finally, for the 4-inch, I'm going to mark it on the 2-inch line. Okay, so put the scoreboard aside, cutting length, and I'm just going to use my craft knife. You could, if you wanted to, use your trimmer, but I'm going to place my seal edge blade here, and what I'm going to do is cut from, you can do either end. You could go from the top down, or see here as well. Just going to cut from here, right at the middle, right down to the bottom, and then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to cut through this tab as well. So put my blade in there, and then I'm just going to slice right down the middle. Okay, that's going to free that up, and then I'm just going to turn it and score along this tab to free that one up as well. Right, so do the same on the other two. I'm going to fold and burnish these tabs, as well as the fold that goes down the middle there. This is going to go together like so, and then it will bend back like that. Right? Also going to use my rubber to just take out that pencil line there. Now you could, if you wanted to, and this was in the tutorial where I got this project from, is cut out a square, or you could do, you don't have to do a square, you could have an oval or a circle, whatever you like, but you would have that cut into these sections here, like so. So what you could do is, if you don't have a die, for example, you could just cut a template out or measure it yourself and cut your aperture out. But I'm going to leave these solid because what I'm going to do is decorate them, and I'm going to decorate them while they're flat because it's going to be a lot easier. So I need to get the measurements then for these pieces, right? I'm not going to be cutting the apertures into these. I'm going to mount them with these pieces that I've cut out, and they are going to go onto the face of these. I'm going to do them on the front and the back, and what I've done is cut them at 1 5/8 for this smallest. For the next size up, I've got 2 inches, which will fit on here, and for the largest I have 2 5/8 because I wanted a little more of the black to show. Start with the smallest of these, and this is more of the American craft cardstock. These are just cut from some scrap pieces I had left over, which is a good project to use up those little bits. I'm just going to place that there, and then I'm going to bring in my yellow, and again this is 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. Place that mat here. Move that up a bit. There. And then on the other side, I'm going to alternate them. Go on to the other pieces next. That's a very sort of Swedish look about it, doesn't it? So do the 2 inch and then the 2 3/8. Are the mats in place, and now I'm going to add some more decoration to this as well. I have had these die cuts in my stash for a long time. Many moons ago I cut these out on my scan and cut and just have not used all of them up yet. So I thought this would be a perfect time to do that with this card. So I'll be using my leftover scraps as well as these die cuts, which are just sitting there doing nothing. So I'm going to speed the filming up, and you can watch as I place these little handbags on these squares. So those are all on, and now I can assemble these pieces. They're just going to go together like so. Sort of like one of those little matchbox covers. So these are the little cubes. Now, how this goes together is this is going to be on the bottom, and see which way it folds. So these are going to go here like this. So when I put my tape on, I want my, just for aesthetic reasons, my little tabs, the pieces on the bottom there, to actually be glued to the back. So I'm going to put my red liner tape on here, and then I'll make sure that that sort of raw edge then is to the back, like that. The next one up is this one, and this one is going to fold backwards, so that means this is going to be at the front. Okay, and for the smallest, it's going to come back again this way. My red liner tape, and since this is a narrow tape, I can just run a couple of pieces along the bottom there. Then it's going to fold back like that. So we want to place it here. Those are all assembled, and now it's time to make the pop-up. I'm going to bring in my base here, and I folded it so that the textured side is face up, just because I like it. And now I'm going to bring in my elements. So the first one is going to go here, and next will rest up here on top, and then finally we'll have our last bit. So give it a try. Now this center here needs to go into the crease here, and again it's folding towards you, so I'm going to make sure that's going to fold in. So I'm going to put it really close down here to the bottom. Doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom, but I'm just going to put it about there. And I'm going to attach this first bit with the tape so that I can get it anchored quickly, and I don't have to wait for glue to be drying. With one side and get that in place, and then I'll put the other down. So again, removing this lining, you can go from this side, try it on there. And add the glue in for a little more wiggle room as well as strength. So central bit there. I'm going to place it these two are going to go like so. So I'm going to place my glue. I'm just going to use my pencil to get the angle. I'll put the glue on here. I switch to my fine nozzle here. Just place that glue. Be pretty generous with it because this does dry clear, so any sort of seeps out, I'm not going to be too bothered. So that's been drying for a little bit. I'm just going to collapse it. We might have to go back in with some more. Give it just a little longer to take hold. Time for the last tier, and that is going to come forward like so. And sort of get an idea as to where I want to place it. I'm going to have it sort of going backwards there. I'm going to collapse it down. Then it opens. Might take a few times to train it. Go to close it. And I'll be honest with you, this is a very bulky piece, as you can see. So it's the sort of card that you probably want to hand deliver. If not, you're going to send it. You want to put it into a box maybe. And the base of this card, I have this sheet of cardstock. This is Hunky Dory's Adorable Scorable, and it's very heavy, and it also has a coating on it. So there's our base. I'm going to place this inside like so, and I'll just use that white border there. To use the quick grab glue for this. Something else I want to do is I've just taken this bit of the adorable squirrel that I had left over, and I've cut it about 1 1/8 inches and rounded the edge off. I'm going to place this at the back and have it wrap round. The front, and I'll secure it with one of my hook and loop discs. If you had a very strong magnet, you could use that as well. But I'll put that on after I finish decorating the front of the card. I have these pieces here. This topper, which I want to use here, I've just noticed that this is actually going to come across there. So what I might do is just cut this off, and I'll go ahead and round it again. So make sure it's well into that cardstock. And there we are. Our lovely little fashionista lady. Actually stands up, but when we open it, up pops our little handbag selection. I think if I'd angled this a little better, this bit here, if I'd made a sharper angle, that would actually pop a lot better. But I think it gives the impression, and this was my first go at this, so lessons learned. So there you have it. So this was all from a German video tutorial, and measurements were in centimeters, but that wasn't too difficult to translate over to inches. And I do understand a little bit of German, and she did have a few of the measurements on screen, so that was quite helpful. But I will definitely leave a link to the tutorial, and it is called, I can just check my notes, Pop-Up Triple Cube Card, and it's made by Handcraft by Melee. Thank you again for coming. If you're not already subscribed, as always, please take the time now to do that. And don't forget that I have a 500 sub. Yes, I finally made it to 500 subs for a giveaway. And there's a video out on that now. So you don't want to miss the deadline to enter for the Amazon gift card that I'll be giving away. You're all remaining safe out there. I hope to see you again very soon. In the meantime, crafty hugs. Bye.